Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Marvin. Today, we've got 2XO, Dixon Dedman's latest creation. Look, I can't wait to get this thing in the glass. Never had anything blended by Dixon Dedman before? Let's get it.
Bottom drop, bottom drop, bottom drop.
Up until now, I can say I never had anything by Dixon Dedman. I didn't even know who the man was. I watched an interview, and I'm telling you what, he seems like a really cool, down-to-earth guy. I mean, he explained everything about 2XO. This new 2XO Phoenix Icon Edition, it's got 4 different bourbons in it. Yeah, you heard me right. 4 different bourbons. He's got 2 low rye bourbons that are about 5.5 years old. Then he has 2 high rye bourbons that are about 6.5 years old. Then he takes those high rye bourbons and then he puts them in a second barrel, char number 3 and char number 4, for about another year, then blends those together. I mean, what the dude is doing, man, it's ridiculous. And when you hear him talk, he is so passionate about his project. And he is such a down-to-earth guy. I love to meet him in person. Look, this right here, Dixon Dedman 2XO, is only the middle tier. He plans on having a 3-tier system. He calls it more of a pyramid type system. But he's gonna have single barrels. That's gonna be the Gem of Kentucky. He's gonna have the 2XO mid-tier line, which is the Icon line. And then he's gonna have the lower tier line that's gonna be more oak finish type products or more oak stave type products. You know, more of an experimental type thing. But this right here, I want to give you guys a review on it because I got it home, cracked it open. I had some of my own thoughts about it. I put a couple pieces down on paper. Now it's time to give it to you guys straight, honest, as usual. So let's get into the nose. Oak. We've got some spice. That spice comes off like a pepper. It's oaky, it's spicy, it's got a sweetness to it. It's got almost like a red apple smell on the nose. It's a red apple, but it's almost like it's a candied apple at the same time. It's like, you know those red candy coated apples? And then if you take that and then dip that in caramel, I mean, that's what's in this glass. It's even got a light hint of like a cherry just floating underneath of pretty much all the rest of the stuff. Let's get into the palate. Wow. All that stuff transfers over. That nice candy apple comes over. The caramel comes over. The caramel isn't as prominent as it was when I first cracked the glass open. That candy apple, red candy apple, that's all I can see when I'm tasting this thing. It comes down the sides, it's got a nice little spice on it. It doesn't, for it to be blended, and the main part of the blend is the 6.5-year-old stuff that he barreled again. And I am not getting any of that char. I mean, he said that he put it in number 3 and number 4 charred barrels. So that's pretty toasty. And I am not getting a lot of that on the finish. On the finish, it is very chocolatey. It's got a heck of a mouthfeel. Let's go back in. Yeah, that spice sticks out in the glass. That spice really sticks out in the glass. That candy coated apple sticks out in the glass. That cherry. Yeah, back in for the second sip. Really nice mouthfeel. It's got a really nice mouthfeel. I wouldn't call it oily, but it does have a very nice mouthfeel. It works its way from the front to the back with nothing but sweetness. That when it gets to the back, it's a hint of leather, but it's mainly chocolate going across the back. I'd have to say this thing is pretty good. Now, it only comes in at 104 proof. He said that he's really not into the higher proof stuff anymore. He said when he was doing a lot of the blended for Kentucky Owl, he said that mid 110s to 120s, he said he just kind of stepped away from it, got away from it. So this comes in at 104, but it's only proof down from 113. So the initial batch that he put together and tested, he said came in at 113.2. Then he said when he went to bottle it, it came in at 113, or tested, I'm sorry. It came in at an even 113. He said by proofing it down, it took a lot of those spices out. He felt like the spices were taking over just a little more than the sweetness, and he felt like it gave it a great balance of sweetness once he proofed it down to 104. I don't get any heavy spices. I get a nice nutmeg. I get a little bit of that pepperiness, but I would love to have seen what this thing did at 113. Not that it's bad at 104, because it is very easy, it is very pleasant to drink, but I would have loved to have seen what it was like at 113. Now, coming in at 104, I do think that is still a good proof for this thing. That is not a proof to sleep on. 104 for a new bourbon drinker is still quite proofy, but like I said, 113, man, I bet you it was amazing. The reason why I'm harping on the 104 so much is because I wanted to put this 104 up against the Penelope 104. This is 2 times oak. This is finished with oak staves. So I felt like that was a good comparison. Proof point was right on par. I mean, I just felt like if I got these two side by side, I could really give you a better comparison of the two and see whether or not this thing is worth the money that they're asking. And we'll get to that in the breakdown.